Greg Pickle, it is quickly approaching Penn State's final weekend before National Signing Day. Always
That's right.
a big deal in recruiting the final weekend. Penn State's class is pretty full.
It is.
But I wanted to ask you, with them at about 18 as we tape this, what are the odds of Penn State getting a commit or two during their final weekend of the year?
Yeah, I think they have a shot. I do. I think that when you look at the kids that are on campus, the two that jump out at you immediately are Mark Webb,
Yeah.
a four-star receiver from Archbishop Wood in Philadelphia, committed to Georgia for a long time. You don't show up at Penn State for an official visit the last weekend of the recruiting calendar unless you're pretty serious about wanting to check out a school one more time before you either sign with the school you've been committed to or flip. So I think Penn State has a real shot there. Ellis Brooks is the other one, a four-star linebacker out of Virginia. He's a guy that Penn State offered on Sunday. He comes to campus now 6 days later. Clearly interested. You don't do that unless you're clearly interested in the school. So I think that those two guys are really the ones to watch going into the weekend. And then coming out of the weekend, we'll have a couple days until Wednesday when Tariq Castro Fields decides. And we're still waiting to see when Elijah Conleaf, the four-star defensive tackle out of Virginia, is going to announce as well.
Of the two kids that you mentioned, Brooks, obviously a linebacker. Maybe some fans are freaking out because of what happened.
Maybe freaking out?
With
very much
with
freaking out.
Dylan Rivers. Is there a priority there for Penn State? Is it critical that they get the linebacker? I know that you're going to address this ad nauseum, but of the two, if they had to get one and not the other, do you place a priority on one?
I don't. I really don't. I think that probably Brooks slightly, but it's not some gigantic gap between him and Webb, I think, or anybody else for that matter. I just think that you would like a linebacker. They knew that Dylan Rivers was kind of the guy that was going to be the guy if they got in a situation like they did in 2016 and they could play him right away.
Right.
Not to say Braylon Faison Walden or Braylon Franklin aren't those guys, but they also might be safeties too. They got to figure that out. You knew Dylan Rivers was a linebacker. You know Ellis Brooks was a linebacker. So if you get into a crazy situation, it'd be nice to have a kid like that on campus. But I don't think there's a huge priority. Maybe not as much as people think there is.
All right, we will see how Penn State does during its final recruiting weekend.